The neural wristband Meta showed earlier this year felt like a cheat code for the future. I tried it once and instantly wanted that same power on every device I own. My toaster was starting to look nervous. I assumed I'd be waiting years, then I found something unexpected. This wristband doesn't just read those tiny electrical signals in your wrist and turn them into gestures, it also works with almost anything that has Bluetooth. VR headsets, XR glasses, handhelds, laptops, phones, even devices that aren't out yet. That's the moment I realized things were about to get interesting. It's called the Link, and today I want to show you what it can actually do, where it falls short, and how it stacks up against Meta's own Neuroband. I'm Kaz, and after nearly 9 years deep in XR, this kind of tech still hits me like fresh oxygen, so subscribe, stick around, and join me beyond reality. The Link is a neural wristband you can wear like a watch, and it sells for $249. The idea may sound complex, but the basics are actually simple. Inside the band are EMG sensors. EMG means it listens to tiny electrical signals in your wrist that appear when you intend to move your fingers or hand. Even tiny movements you barely notice create a signal, and the wristband turns that into digital actions. Makes me wonder what kind of accidental gestures I've sent into the universe without knowing. But to make sense of these signals, it uses AI. Of course, AI is everywhere. Here, it's an algorithm trained to recognize patterns. So when you make a small pinch or tilt your hand, it knows what you meant to do and turns it into a command. It also uses a normal motion sensor, a little 6DoF unit with an accelerometer and gyroscope to track hand movement. Combine that with the EMG sensors and you basically get a wristband that can act like a Bluetooth mouse or keyboard. And since Bluetooth is the only thing it needs, it works on pretty much every major device and operating system. That's the core idea. Your wrist becomes an input device. Before jumping into the fun stuff, here's what you get in the box. The Link itself, a charging cable, and a tiny manual. That's it, simple. It comes in one size. It uses a flexible Velcro strap, so it should fit most adult wrists. My wrists are pretty small, so at first it felt a bit big on me, but you can slide it slightly higher up your arm and it still works fine. Other than that, you strap it on, it fits, and you're ready to go. The first setup is done through an app. You set it up once, and after that, the wristband works by itself. The app is only for customization. When you connect it over Bluetooth, you get two modes, mouse mode and keyboard mode. Mouse mode gives you a floating pointer, so you move your hands to move the pointer, pinch your index finger and thumb to left click, turn your hand over and pinch again for right click. If you pinch and slide, you get scrolling. It feels a bit like using an invisible trackpad in the air. You can also twist your wrist once or twice to trigger extra actions. Inside the app on Windows or macOS, you can change any of these to different shortcuts or keys, which opens up for some fun possibilities. More on fun use cases in a bit. Keyboard mode turns your gestures into D-pad style controls. You get 7 gestures to move in different directions. Double tap becomes enter, twist or double twist can be mapped to whatever you want. Unfortunately, this mode doesn't always respond well. It often misreads my gestures as twists, though that might improve with more practice. The wristband has one button and an LED that tells you what's going on. Orange blinking means it's not connected and ready to pair. Blinking green means it's in mouse mode but sleeping. Tap the button once and mouse mode wakes up. Double tap the button and it turns pink. That's keyboard mode. You can also put that in standby by tapping the button once until the pink light starts blinking. It's a simple setup. One button, one LED, and suddenly your wrist can do way more than you would expect, which I'm gonna show you after a message from this part sponsor. Kiwi design. Let's talk about how I've been VR gaming non-stop lately without stressing about my Quest's battery dying mid-session. This setup is really nice because it includes 2 tiny 5000 mAh power banks and 2 magnetic docks. So while one power bank keeps my headset going, the other is recharging on the dock. When it runs low, I just swap them out. Easy. That's about as close to unlimited playtime as it gets. In a timed test, Quest 3 hit 65% in an hour and the Quest 3S went over 70%. The modular strap design is smart too. It's hook and loop style and the locking mechanism is solid. You can mount it on the side, top or back of your strap. I personally like it on the back because it balances the weight even more and feels more stable during fast movement. And they're super light, just 1.5 grams, so you can throw one in your bag, use it for your phone or camera too. I even strapped it to my bike last weekend to keep my phone alive. I always appreciate gear that works for more than just one thing. Check out the link below. Before we get into what you can actually do with Mudra, let's talk about compatibility first, because this part is surprisingly easy as well. If your device has Bluetooth Low Energy, it properly works. I'll put the full list on screen, but it includes all major operating systems, phones, tablets, computers, and most XR devices. So yes, it works with the Meta Quest 3, XR glasses like X-Real or Viture, the Inmo Air 3, and Rokit's Spatial AR. It also connects to handheld gaming devices and should even work with upcoming systems like the Steam Frame and Steam Machine. That's a huge range for a neural input device, especially compared to Meta's, which is locked to one system. So I've tried it with the PC, MacBook, and iPhone, and with the regular devices like those, it feels natural. For simple things like scrolling through a web page, moving through a timeline while editing, or navigating a movie while you're leaning back, it works great. One thing I enjoyed is reading an ebook on my iPhone and flipping pages with just a tap. On handhelds like the ROG Ally X or even the upcoming Steam Machine, it could be great for couch setups where you don't always want to grab a mouse. Feels small, but it's the kind of small that quietly spoils you. It also opens up for some fun hands-busy scenarios. If you're following a tutorial while working on something, you don't have to touch the screen with messy hands. If you're giving a presentation, you can control everything from a distance without holding a clicker. I'm actually using it right now with my teleprompter. That short of reach, beyond touch, is where this device starts to feel useful in daily life. Then there's XR glasses. I tested it with the Inmo Air 3, but it works just as well with setups like X-Real with the Beam Pro or Viture with the neckband. In fact, this might be where the Mudra Link shines the most. All these glasses basically act like floating tablets, and the Mudra Link gives you smoother control than the included gyro-only controllers they usually rely on. Navigating menus with a neural band is just so much nicer. With VR headsets though, it's a different story. On the Quest 3, the gestures work smoothly, but the experience overlaps with the built-in hand tracking. With the Mudra Link, you still have to wave your hand around, so most of the time you might as well use the native hand gestures. So on headsets that already have good hand tracking, I'm not sure it adds a clear advantage. And if you appreciate brutal honesty in your tech reviews, feel free to reward my courage with a like. But there are situations where the Mudra Link becomes genuinely useful. In low light, when the Quest's hand tracking gives up, the Mudra keeps working. And it still tracks when your hands drop outside the camera's view, which native hand tracking can't handle. There is a limit though. The Mudra Link doesn't synchronize the 6DoF tracking, so in VR you can't move windows closer or farther away. So the Mudra Link doesn't replace hand tracking, but it does fill the blind spots. However, on headsets without hand tracking support, it suddenly makes sense again. When you're standing across the room while streaming PC VR, being able to control your PC without walking back to your desk is actually pretty handy. This could be especially useful with the upcoming Steam Frame, since it's made for streaming and doesn't include hand tracking at all. Compared to Meta's neural band, the differences become clear fast. The Mudra Link is more like a mouse pointer, so you still move your whole hand to navigate. Meta's band works with tiny gestures and very little movement. It can tell the difference between finger taps and supports more advanced gestures like thumb swipes for scrolling or rotating your hand to zoom in, which is part of why it feels so futuristic. You cannot do that level of finger detail with the Mudra Link. It's mostly index finger pinches and twists, so the Mudra Link works well, but it's a bit less responsive. I often have to press a little harder for a click, and hold press doesn't always register well. It's small in mouse mode, but keyboard mode definitely needs more work, especially for D-pad movements. But there is a flip side. Meta Meta's band only works inside Meta's ecosystem. The Mudra link gives you full freedom to even map gestures to keyboard shortcuts. So for example, if you play games with complex controls, you can set up macro-style gestures and use the wristband as an extra layer on top of your mouse and keyboard. That kind of flexibility is something Meta's band can't or won't match. So it becomes a choice. Precision on one platform or freedom everywhere. You do need a bit more movement with the Mudra link, which is perfect if you're counting it as your daily workout, but the lazy gremlin in me definitely prefers how little you have to move with Meta's band. But the mouse pointer style navigation does help you jump through interfaces quickly, faster than gesture-only based systems. And the range of devices you can use it with is honestly impressive. Battery life is solid at around 2 days and it recharges in about 80 minutes. It's water resistant with an IP56 rating, the materials feel good too, biocompatible silicone, a soft nylon strap and stainless steel sensors. It's comfortable, though like Meta's Neuroband, you do need to wear it a little tight so the sensors make proper contact. So after long sessions, it can leave light pressure marks, but nothing painful. I kinda feel like a cyberpunk character here. But after using it across so many devices, it's no surprise that the best thing, I think, is how flexible it is. It just jumps between platforms, apps, and whole categories of tech without complaining, and that alone makes it feel like a step toward the kind of neural control we've been waiting for. It could use some improvement, but you can already sense the early beginnings of a new way of interacting with tech where your hands aren't tied to screens or controllers anymore. I honestly can't wait until this becomes the norm. As for whether it's worth the $250, that really depends on how many devices you want to pair it with, and if mouse mode is enough for you. If you use XR glasses, I do think this is a surprisingly strong companion, and I think I'll be using it a lot more. So what do you think? Something you'd use and what for? Let me know below. Now, if you found this interesting, hit like so more people can find this video, and if you want to keep exploring the future of XR and neural interfaces with me, subscribe.